Hello, everyone. My name is Elham Fardad, and I am the founder and CEO of the charity Migrant Leaders. I am delighted to be here with you today at the Charity Times Leaders Forum. Thank you for inviting me. To tell you a little bit more about myself, I am in my 40s, married with two wonderful children. And I've had a really rewarding career of 23 years as a finance director in the companies GE, News Corp, and Ernst& Young. But life hasn't always been this good. So I'm going to tell you a little story. When I was 13 years old, I moved with my family from Iran to the UK, and I grew up as a young migrant in Birmingham. But by the time I was 18, my family had broken up, unfortunately, and I found myself without money, with a broken family and no hope, and with my mom and little brother to look after. But I knew one thing at 18, that I had to go to university. The way out of that situation for me and my family was going to be through education. But I had a problem. The problem was that I would be counted as a foreign student, having been in the UK only a few years. And I didn't mind working part time while studying full time, but I needed some support with my university fees. So I decided that I would camp outside Birmingham City Council offices for 3 days in a row until somebody would agree to count me as a home student so I could go to university. And it's because of their kindness that they agreed to count me as a home student, and off I went to university. And as a result of that help and support, I managed to qualify as an accountant a few years later and got my first big break as a financial controller in the company GE. And you would think the rest is history. I spent the next 23 years as a finance director in GE, News Corp, and Ernst& Young. And back in 2017, launched the charity Migrant Leaders, which helps first and second generation young migrants address some of the typical challenges that they face in fulfilling their potential in Britain. We provide them with mentors that match their aspirations and development needs. And we have corporate partnerships with big companies such as Anglo American, Smith & Nephew, Cantor, ABB, and others. And we deliver through those collaborations great work experiences, training, relationships, and connections to these amazing young people. Where Migrant Leaders is today is that we have 925 senior mentors from 95 FTSE 100 companies and 905 amazing mentees between 16 and 25 who make me proud every day with how they overcome the challenges and with their stories and outcomes that they achieve with a little bit of help from Migrant Leaders. So you would think that with the things that I have done, with the things that I have had a passion for, I may not suffer from imposter syndrome, but I very much did and I very much do. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I manage that. First of all, I remember back in GE when I was 25, had just landed that financial controller job, was really pleased. And in the first 6 months of my job, things had gone really, really well. I was a member of the management team. Yes, everyone else in the management team were male, most of them twice my age, many of them very, very posh and very different to me. I was a female in an engineering company, young, a migrant, all of the above. So the imposter syndrome definitely was there. And even though I worked collaboratively with my finance team, we achieved Six Sigma at the GE internal audit. I worked the night shift with the night shift engineers and learned a bunch of stuff from them in terms of Six Sigma. And our collaborations led to great outcomes for that business. But I still suffered from the imposter syndrome. I remember thinking to myself, My goodness, I think I've achieved these things through luck. This was all luck. It's not me. I don't deserve this. What I didn't know at that time is that that was classic imposter syndrome. I literally had to sit myself down and calculate the probability of several good things happening in a row. And only then did I realize no one is that lucky, and that perhaps I contributed to that success through a little bit of talent, a lot of hard work, and yes, a little bit of luck. So I managed to convince myself several times that perhaps I should manage this feeling a little bit better and continue to succeed. Throughout my 23-year career, despite the successes, despite all the mentoring and support and wonderful colleagues that I've had, this feeling sometimes came back occasionally. And I'd love to share with you how I've managed this imposter syndrome feeling and what I have found on that journey. What I have found is that there are actually no words from anyone else that can convince you that you deserve success. Because there's actually no confidence class that can give you the confidence that you really desire. Success is the best confidence class. The other thing that I have found out is that people will follow you when you're authentic. People talk about networking techniques. People talk about how they must meet lots of people and build relationships and network, and there are techniques around this. Of course, there are. But the best way of getting people to follow you is following your passion, making sure you really want to solve other people's problems, society's problems, your company's problems, your colleagues' problems. Really be authentic in doing that. And people will follow you. You will gain credibility and the confidence that you need to manage the feelings of imposter syndrome that might occasionally come to you. And actually, when I think back to my childhood, sometimes my father's words come back to me. I remember he used to say to me that, yes, given our social mobility story in our family and the backgrounds that the deprived background that he came from, really achievement and fulfilling your potential is really, really important, that we must fulfill our potential, but that it's better to achieve this much with integrity than to achieve that much without integrity. So, yes, use your talents, fulfill your potential, but throughout your career and your life, maintain who you are and maintain your integrity. Why is that important to confidence and managing imposter syndrome? Because life is full of setbacks. Life will not always go your way. And I can tell you with confidence that I feel that I can overcome any outcome, any failure of my own, and any setback, as long as I feel like I did it with integrity, with authenticity, and confidence, and I had people next to me, and that I still managed to stay as myself. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to you today, and it is an honor as ever to be part of the Charity Times network. Thank you for inviting me.